Hello, Abigail here with the astrology for this week. Just a heads up, guys, I'm a bit under the weather, but we are going to do this. This video is going to probably be a smidge shorter. We don't have as much going on. I am going to talk a little bit about the Mercury retrograde. It is quite spicy. So, just to kind of cover the Mercury retrograde that will have started the Sunday before this week starts on the 9th, it is starting in the early degrees of Sagittarius, and then we'll be headed towards Scorpio, which is where it will then station direct. It starts on the 9th and ends on the 29th. So we have 20 days of this, almost 3 weeks. And yeah, it's a lot. It starts in detriment in Sagittarius because the oppositional sign is Gemini, which is where it is in domicile. And so the chaos is heavy. We also have Mars in Sagittarius. We're also dealing with the nodes right now as well. Well, the nodes have kind of separated from these degrees. Um, you know, Mercury is going from kind of a rough square to the nodes to a rough trine to the north node where it's stationed. So there's this kind of extreme friction at the beginning, and I think a slow loosening as we move through, which bright side, the beginning is probably a little testier than the end. But we are in Scorpio, which is a very deep, watery sign. And when Mercury's in a water sign, it doesn't have the quickness that it normally has. We have to sit in our feelings. We have to dive into the depths of our emotions. We have to deal with the discomfort of feeling. Now, if you are a person who has worked through a lot of, the ability to sit with hard feelings or to um, just accept feelings for as they are, this might feel a little easier, but you might notice it coming in with other people in your life who are very much not feeling their feelings. And if you haven't sat with those hard feelings, you might get both of those things. So there's never a wrong time to start with just sitting with the difficulty that feelings can be. And viewing them as neutrally and as compassionately as possible. But this retrograde is especially spicy. I and a lot of other astrologers have definitely been kind of feeling the pull of that shadow period, that pre-shadow period. I kind of liken it to feeling the tide, the tide going out when you feel that tug on your ankles. If you've ever been to the ocean and you sit there, and when the tide's going out, you can feel the ocean pulling you back a little bit. That is what the pre-shadow phase has felt like for me. Just this pull, and at the same time, we're being tugged by the Sagittarius Mars. So yes, the tension's been rough. I will say once we get, you know, Mercury back in a Mars ruled sign and with Mars more progressive, I think it is actually going to be surprising what does get done, but it is going to be probably the things that we're not exactly pushing for. It's going to be the stuff that needs to get done, not necessarily the stuff that we have on our list. So just be aware. But this week, we kind of start off with our major thing on Tuesday, and this is Jupiter stationing retrograde at 25 degrees. It has been here for a minute. So if there is anything at 25 degrees in a cardinal sign, 25 degrees in a water sign in your chart, 25 degrees of Cancer, pay attention. Also, for people who have partners and friends, children, and some things have felt a little sticky, go see what's in their chart, because this station retrograde of Jupiter has been really kind of unfolding over the last week, and it has definitely kind of made communication and resources and people's sense of security feel very stuck and finite. And so there's a lot of a sense of like holding on to stuff, not having enough. You can think about it this way with all the stuff happening in the world, if you're an American specifically, with the SNAP benefits and our government trying to starve people, um, that feeling of things not moving through, that is the Mercury retrograde in this pre-shadow period. And it's also the Mercury retrograde, not Mercury retrograde, the stationing of Jupiter retrograde. And we're going to see this play out through the Jupiter retrograde. I think it stations direct in December. I would have to go look. It might be a little longer. Um, Actually, I think it is a little longer. I think it stations a little in the next in 2026. I would have to look it up. I have a cold. I'm a little fuzzy today. But just know that we are now going back through the degrees of Jupiter that we have been progressing through for a portion of this year. I think it stations at 17 degrees. My notes are not comprehensive this week. But yeah, there's a lot happening, and this week does feel really sticky. Also, the only other event we have is on Wednesday. And when I say the only other event, I mean points of action. The astrology unfolds throughout. It's, it doesn't just stop, stuff doesn't stop happening just because we're not having an exaction, which is when you're in the exact degree of some form of planetary connection and aspect. So Wednesday, we have Mercury retrograde making its second conjunction to Mars. The first conjunction to Mars was at 19 degrees of Scorpio. Like this point will be like 3 weeks ago. We're going to have a third conjunction in Capricorn once everything's direct. So there's a trifecta of things happening. Pay attention to what happened the Monday before the new moon in Libra, which is when this conjunction happened. Excuse me, I'm very sniffly. And then see what unfolds this Wednesday. See what activation, see what change, see what shift is happening, because this is an ongoing story. This is how retrogrades work. Whatever planet is around the planet Mercury gets hit 3 times. Of course, as long as it's in the correct degrees and moving forward. So we're going to experience another one. The last time it had a lot of people having to make decisions and choices. Depending on where this falls in your house, the topics will be different. For instance, it was in my third house where I see that friends live. That's kind of how I view it. Friends for me are third and seventh house. And I had a friend offer me help and a hand in a progressive way. So it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom, but it was help in a situation that was really gross. In a really rough situation. So the circumstances might be bad, but this can be a moment of activation, a moment of movement. Do remember that Mercury is already stationed retrograde. So this is a retrograding Mercury, but there will be, whatever you've been going through, there is another kind of answer or moment or issue coming to the front on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. Especially in Mercury in retrogrades like this, when Jupiter is stationing retrograde, when we have Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde, and we have, Uranus just went into Taurus, it is important to remember that we are not failing or floundering. We are simply having to review and to reconsider and to understand things on a deeper level. There's no moment in life where we just move forward. There's no situation where we ever completely are done with something, even when the brain buries it. So just know that that's what we're doing, especially heading into the new year. A lot of this energy is not going to move forward until, honestly, stuff starts to station direct in December, end of December, beginning of January, and then we get some progress. And then our final station, I want to say for Uranus, is sometime in February or March, and then we have it re-entering Gemini on April 25th. So there is a long progression with the planets that we are dealing with. So hang tight. I really, in moments like these, I encourage you to really appreciate what you can enjoy in the moment instead of what is not functioning, what is not working, because we're kind of in a time of dysfunction. And I think we all can feel that pretty heavily. And I just encourage you to, instead of thinking of like keep pushing forward, keep trying to stay grounded in the day to day. Try to stay grounded in the people who care about you. Try to stay grounded in the things that you can and do have the ability to shift in a time when a lot of us don't have a whole lot of control. Anyways, my dears, I will see you in a different space and time. I hope this week brings you some unexpected Mars-Mercury conjunction blessings. It can be a spicy moment. It can be rough, but I do think that Mars does bring us gifts. And in Sagittarius, where it's ruled by Jupiter, they can be really interesting ones. And interesting in a positive way. Anyways, I will see you all in a different space and time. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe, and I will